And to better understand the drivers and implications of this violence, we turn to Mr. Dmitry Diliani, member of the Fatah Revolutionary Council, live from Dubai. Mr. Diliani, what are the primary factors behind Israel's aggressive actions in the West Bank, and how are these policies impacting the daily lives of Palestinians?
The dominating factor is the expansionist, supremacist ideology of which the state of Israel was built on, and the genocidal, racist, societal values of the state of Israel that allows, and not only that, elects politicians that drive the process or the crimes of ethnic cleansing all through the occupied Palestinian territories, whether it was in Gaza or in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem. The main goal of these war crimes that are committed by the state of Israel is ethnic cleansing. The Palestinian existence, mere Palestinian existence on Palestinian land is considered for these ideologues zealous in the state of Israel and who are now running the government in the state of Israel is a danger, and they see it as a challenge to their Zionist project. That's why with the help and political support and military aid of major Western countries, including, of course, and headed by the United States of America, the state of Israel is able to commit such war crimes as a manifestation of its Zionist ideology and societal values.
Well, Israel's military operations have drawn widespread criticism for their disproportionate impact on Palestinian communities. Can you elaborate on the extent of this devastation?
Well, if we're speaking about Gaza, Gaza is genocide, with bombings of civilian infrastructure, and today deliberately burning down Kamal Adwan Hospital. The victims are above 45,000 confirmed, on top of the 10,000 that are still under rubble, over 120,000 injuries, around 75% of homes are totally damaged or partly damaged to the point that they are not usable anymore. All the universities in Gaza are obliterated. Around 85% of the schools in Gaza are gone, and it's the pure hell on earth. Now, if you're talking about the West Bank suffers from less of a bloody ethnic cleansing process, but it still fits the same category, even though it doesn't rise up to the level of genocide as well, but it is ethnic cleansing. And if you review the war crimes committed by the state of Israel in the past couple of days, you will see that Israel has used F-16s against civilian population, has used artillery shellings against civilian population, has used field executions of unarmed civilians. So the war crimes that are committed in the state of Israel, and if you put that on top of the terrorism, the state-sponsored terrorism committed by Israeli colonial groups, you would see that the rise of Israeli terrorism and violence in the West Bank has risen to above and beyond the levels of the Second Intifada of 2000, and it's heading towards, and the aim for all this, besides ethnic cleansing, is to create facts on the ground in preparation for Donald Trump's taking over, in which the settler groups and the government of the state of Israel hope that they will achieve some sort of legitimacy for their illegitimate and illegal annexation plans for major parts of the West Bank that would include settlement blocks and the vast majority of the areas surrounding them, according to what the ministers in the government have expressed clearly, like Smotrich a couple of months ago. He down his view of annexation. He is the person in charge of the military occupation in the West Bank. And recently he just declared that he hopes and he expects that Donald Trump would make good on his promises to Zionist donors by supporting the annexation process, annexation crime of the parts of the West Bank. And this, of course, carries an infringement on and whatever that brought with it of his political boasting about changing the status quo in the holy sites, whether it was mainly the Al-Aqsa Mosque, but also there are some infringements on the rights of Christians in the old city of Jerusalem, specifically in Jaffa.
Mm-hmm. Well, changing this status quo, sir, that you're talking about actually drives more settler violence that has been described as state-backed aggression. How has Israel's government facilitated or ignored these acts of violence?
The state of Israel is the main sponsor of this Jewish terrorism because, for many reasons. One, it starts with the schools. People with others, indigenous people with foreigners, and also the same ideology carries on to the army, which is mandatory for the Jewish Israeli population of the state of Israel, and carries to colleges and universities. So education is one. Two is the legal process. Rarely an Israeli Jew gets arrested for proven terrorist attack. And I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, there was an attack on Orthodox Church in occupied Jerusalem. The attacker was filmed while committing the crime. And after a lot of polls, diplomatic poll and legal polls, the church was able to get him arrested. Only for this person who was caught on film, did not deny, and with all the international pressure, was arrested, only to repeat the same act less than 24 hours after the first crime was committed at the same church and being recorded with the same cameras and causing the damage to the same areas that he caused the damage the day before. This shows that there is complicity in protecting Israeli Jewish terrorists by the state of Israel. And let's recall what happened about a little bit more than a year ago when the Israeli government provided these Israeli colonial terrorists living in Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, provided them with free weapons. These weapons were used in the escalation of the Israeli terrorism against Palestinian civilians. I mean, if anybody around the world would really take 5 minutes to really look at statistics of Israeli terrorist violence in the West Bank and how the state of Israel is the driving force behind this terrorism, would be really surprised to see how in the West, some of these countries that claim to be pro-democracy, pro-human rights, are still supporting this terrorist, Zionist, genocidal, supremacist state of Israel.
Yes. Well, that was Mr. Dmitry Diliani joining us from Dubai. Thank you, sir, for helping us unpack this complex issue.